What's going on, good people? Hope y'all are well today. So, I'm actually out of town right now, but I wanted to share this conversation I had with this sister because this is the first time I've ever gotten this question. First off, it didn't start as a question. She was like, D, I just want to let you know, I feel so free right now. I broke up with this dude 4 months ago. I spent a lot of time crying. But about 2 weeks ago, I just felt this weight lift off my shoulders. I felt so free. And I was like, okay, well, it sounded to me like you got this covered. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, congratulations, but what are we talking about? And she said, yeah, well, I don't know exactly what I did. So, like, I'm scared to date because I don't want to lose this space. I don't want to get attached to somebody else and have to spend months crying or whatever. Like, I want to know, like, how did I get here? And I was like, well, that's a hard question to answer just off the top of my head. But kind of walk me through what the last couple of months have been. And this is basically what I gathered. And this is what I think is true for anybody, man or woman, who finally lets go. This is the way that you let go. The first way that you let go is to choose you. And that's one of the things that she did. I said, it's one of 4 things I can see that you did. You chose you. You stopped choosing the relationship. You stopped choosing y'all. You stopped choosing y'all's dreams. You stopped choosing your mama, your daddy, your friends. You stopped choosing what your ex thought about you and whether or not he would feel like he was validated because another relationship didn't work after him. You stopped thinking about what your friends would say, you know, when they were telling you he wasn't no good and you ain't want them to feel like they were proven right. And you stopped thinking about it because that's basically what's happening. Anytime you start putting what other people think about you or feel about you or whatever before your own well-being and what you know to be true for your situation, you're choosing them. And what I told her was, I was like, you know, you did one of 4 things. You actually did multiple, but you at least did one of 4 things. You start saying, you know what? I choose me and I take whatever come with it. I don't care if it's a longer season of loneliness. I don't care if I lose certain friends. I don't care if I get laughed at. I don't care if mama mad at me because she still don't know when she gonna get grandbabies. You chose you. And anything else was worth the price to pay, but not losing you. All right? So I said the second thing, the second reason why you were able to finally let go is because you broke that soul tie. You stopped sleeping with them. And you know, it's natural to sleep with somebody after the breakup. Your body's familiar to something, and a lot of times that's how you want to cope with the grief. So you end up going back to what's familiar. Let's keep it all the way real. Y'all can sit up here and act all perfect if you want to. Everybody's been there at some point. But what she was able to do was she was able to say, you know what? I'm going to resist my flesh to protect my heart. I'm going to resist my flesh to protect my heart. I'm not going to go and try to find him sexually with somebody else, physically with somebody else, because that also keeps the soul tie in place. Whenever you go and you say, I'm just going to go sleep around, man or woman now, I'm going to sleep around to replace this person, to get this person off my mind. But the whole time you sleeping around, you thinking about them, all you're doing is keeping that soul tie in place. And all that soul tie is doing is bondaging you to that relationship, even though it's dead and gone, or supposed to be dead and gone. But she instead starved her flesh to protect her heart. I said, you broke that soul tie. That's why you were able to finally let go. The third thing you did is you stopped haunting yourself. So many times I get messages from people saying, D, you know, the memories haunt me. He's in a new relationship. It's haunting me. And I'm like, you acting like that's external happening to you. But from what you're telling me, you're haunting yourself. You going on his social media. You're haunting yourself. You won't delete the pictures. You're haunting yourself. You won't give the gifts back, pawn them, throw them away. You're haunting yourself. You comparing yourself to everybody else. You trying to measure up to what, you throwing subliminals on social media, hoping that he see them, hoping that he feel away. You're trying to get revenge. You're haunting yourself. The more revenge, the more you sitting here doing, the more you going to keep checked in to what he got going on. That's what's haunting you. It ain't this, that, and the other memories or whatever. You're haunting yourself. And what I told her is like, hey, yeah, you're not haunting yourself. You started to finally just snip, like cut all attachment, stop putting this man on your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind will eventually get the hint that this person is no longer in your life and that life needs to go on without that person. You're not haunting yourself, right? And the last thing that I commended her for, and this might be the biggest thing, the reason why she was really able to let go is because she stopped waiting on time to heal her. And so many times we do that because everybody done heard the saying, time heals all. No, time doesn't heal all. Perspective heals all. You can wait 10, 15, 20 years and never get healing. You see people in their 70s and 80s, you talk to them and they've been through a lot, especially if they still blaming whatever happened, they still need healing. But all you need is a perspective shift, and in an instant, you can get that freedom. You can get that closure. You can get that healing that you were looking for. That's why a lot of y'all watch my videos, because a lot of times you have this perspective shift, and in that shift, there's instant healing. Instant healing. And I was like, you know what? You stop waiting on time. At some point, you started accepting the truth. You stopped believing in what you wanted it to be, and you accepted what it is. You stopped letting your perspective have this misconception, rather, should I say, that you're never going to find love again. Was that even love that you had? And you know, stop, like your perspective was on one thing, but the real perspective was there are still men out there. Within a 5 to 10 year radius of you being born, there were tens of millions of men that were born too. Now, all of them ain't here no more, but most of them are. You good. Your chances look very good of meeting another man. Your perspective. You stop having a perspective that you couldn't go on and be successful and, you know, and nobody ever loved the real you again. You couldn't go on and make money. You couldn't go on and do it. No, you got your perspective right. Life moves on. Before you ever met that man, you was just fine. If he was never born, you would be just fine. Now that he's out of your life, you're going to be just fine. You stopped waiting on time, and you finally gave yourself permission to heal. Even in the Bible, Jesus asked the lame man, will you be healed? Like your conscious decision making. Your willpower is involved in your healing. It's not just external, and at some point you have to literally choose and decide to heal in order to let that happen. And that's what she allowed to happen. Now, I told her, as you go forward, it's not so important to make sure that you can break away from the next man that's not right for you, as it is to make sure that you're doing better to choose the right man for you. You've evolved through all of that hurt. You've evolved through that situation. Make sure that the next man that you choose has equally evolved. Make sure he's evolved, because you met a man that was compatible with the old you, that didn't know certain things, that didn't have a certain amount of strength or boundaries or confidence. Make sure that the next man that you choose is not only fit for where you are, but where you're headed. And that's going to be an evolved man. If you've done some evolving on your own, now for those of you who have not tapped in, I got a whole masterclass about how to choose, not just choose, but make sure an evolved man chooses you, craves you, comes after you, pursues you. If you have not gotten access to that masterclass, click the link that you see pinned right here at the bottom. Click that link. I commented, I pinned it, so that those of you who missed the masterclass before, you can get access to it now before it comes down again. Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You, where I break down how to identify an evolved man, how to identify an evolved man in the right season of his life for the relationship that you want, and how to make multiple evolved men crave you so you can choose the one that's right for you. And as a side note real quick, again, that link is in the comment. It's also in the caption whenever you back out. As a side note, just because you don't feel like you've let go, you're not receiving the fruit or the benefit emotionally of letting go, you don't feel that freedom, doesn't mean you haven't let go. The moment you do any of those 4 things, whatever's holding you back, the moment you do that, you let go. And the emotions catch up to it. Like, it's already true, but the emotions may take some time to catch up to it. So don't think you haven't let go just because you still feel hurt, just because you miss a person. That's the natural emotional dust settling. So whenever you do these things, you say, you know what? I'm no longer tapping in. I don't care what he posts on social media. I don't care what new relationship that he's in. I choose me. I'm breaking a soul tie. No more sex. I accept the truth and the reality that life goes on. I'm going to be okay. I will find love again. It will find me. I will use the right strategies to attract better, higher tier men on an internal character level. Your emotions may not agree with that at first. That don't mean that you haven't moved on. And I say this because so many people sabotage their moving on and their healing because their emotions don't validate it. The emotions don't always validate the truth of the situation. You establish what's true and your emotions will catch up. But those are just my thoughts. If you got anything from this, share this right now for somebody else in your timeline who needs this blessing of this message. And if you're in the market for an evolved man, click the link pinned right here. Click that link, get access to the masterclass, y'all. Over an hour, I drop gems about how to make evolved men crave you. And I'm talking about on the character level, evolved men crave you. Click the link right here to get access to that masterclass. The link is also in the caption whenever you back out. I'll let y'all be good.